last week we did this session. It was with Central Kids. It's an early childcare and kindergarten provider, and they have maybe like 50 or 60 sites across New Zealand. On the day, they were really excited and thankful and like just stoked that there was a company that existed that was doing this. And again, it was just like testament to the deck as well. Like even without all the instruction cards, like people were really drawn to them. As soon as they saw them, they like picked them up and looked at them. And even before we'd started, they were like, oh, what are these? And like flipped through them, and they like, again, like just the design, even just the black and white with the text was like impressive for them. From the leaders, they really respected the te reo approach. That was really cool. And then from the users, they just felt, again, all the things you've probably heard a million times, but really helped facilitate a chunky conversation and made it a bit easier to work through the good stuff and the bad stuff, and that they all wanted to keep them immediately. Like all of them were like, these are great, you know, do we get to take this back? And I had to like protect them with my lives, context wise. So they're going through some exciting and challenging changes as well, and their industry is, you know, pretty tough. And focus of the day was around acknowledging that change and acknowledging some of that uncertainty, and like really like facing into the challenge moving forward. We had, I think, 1 pack per table, and each table probably had about like 6 to 8 people in it. We just printed out like an empty poster essentially for each prompt question. So we did this at the very beginning of the day, and we wanted to ask 2 questions. So one was, how are you currently feeling? And how do you want to feel moving forward as a team? Nice. So it was sort of current and future state, and it just allowed them to acknowledge all of the stuff at the beginning of a change sort of process, and then sort of immediately move into a bit of a more future positive sort of like, if we get everything going, and how do we identify those. So 2 simple questions, and they just chose top 5 cards as a group and put them sort of around the poster. We only spent maybe like 30 to 40 minutes on it, like pretty rapid. We sort of just introduced it that this is the very first part of the process. You might sort of help identify where you want to go. Halfway through the session, we said, cool, if you haven't already, like move on to the future state now, and again use hopefully more of the desirable feelings than the undesirable. At that part of the day, they were in location-specific groups, so they weren't like randomly. So it was enabled a bit of a, like as a team at our site, we feel this. And most of the groups, from what I could see, they had like one person kind of going through the deck, and they went through that natural definitely no and then yeses, and then they kind of went through the yeses as like definitely yeses. And at the end of the session, because we kind of went rapidly into a break and then into another one, I had one of our helpers just sort of collate all the posters and put all the top 5 future cards from each of the rohi into a word cloud, and then we just like brought that up on a slide to say, as a group, these are the words or feelings that kept coming up from that agile perspective. Like having a bit of time pressure also helps that sort of conversation, right? Quick and helpful, you know, like. But yeah, no, they were just stoked. It was really good.